Hey, my name is Stephen Mulindwa, and as usual, I normally have guests with me. I've got two guests with me, and today's program is to do with the Nigerian elections. Yes, they're taking place on the 16th, and we are getting prepared, very prepared, because Nigeria means quite a lot to the rest of the continent in terms of what goes on in that continent, into that country. Practical effects, not just West Africa, but the whole of Africa. With me in the studio is Chief. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, viewers. As usual, my name is Chief Sir Dr. Ejikeme Uzoalor, President Emeritus of Ndi, and the Chairman of the Social Club, London branch, as well as the Coordinator of Articulated Agenda 2019, United Kingdom. Good evening. Thank you very much.
And Ambassador George.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and viewers. My name is Ambassador George Sunday Uzonwa. Sunday Uzonwa is the president of Neighbor Family Association and also the assistant secretary of the Social Club International UK. And also, I'm the proprietor of Formula One Football Club in the UK and Nigeria as well, and also the coordinator of Articulated Agenda in UK as well. So, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you both for coming to the studio. I want us to start with the candidates. There's so many candidates, so we can't really go all over. I mean, we can't go all over the continents. There are so many of them. But the two main ones, Atiku and Buhari. When you look at the two, because according to the recent opinion polls, I know these are opinion polls of one newspaper in Nigeria, which is currently showing that Atiku is in a lead, according as they went state by state. What opinion have you both got in terms of this? Is it true or not? Atiku is in the lead.
Anyway, opinions is always opinion.
Yeah.
You know, your opinion polls, it doesn't really reflect actually the real voting measurement as far as I'm concerned. It's just to reflect how people think.
Yeah.
And different newspapers in Nigeria have their own different opinion polls.
Okay.
And that depends on the region, the areas that each political party or the presidential aspirants come from.
Yeah.
So probably if there's a paper covering those in the north, of course, obviously the opinion poll may be reflecting that probably President Buhari is in the lead.
Yeah.
But if you come to the states where also Atiku Abubakar is from, the opinion poll may be showing that, or those states that favored him, of course, we have a high number of people supporting him. Generally, I think like if you reflect the way Nigerian population are feeling and what the mass media, including the newspapers, are saying, I think Atiku is half edge over President Buhari.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what do you think about it?
My opinion is very clear. Clear. Even those states that stood with Buhari have all now gone backwards.
Okay.
And had a rethink and find out that they are in the wrong pipeline.
Yeah.
So now many states that Buhari was controlling before has now gone tactical. So if you look at places like, okay, if I say Borno used to be controlled by the president.
Borno is in the north.
Buhari APC.
Okay.
Katsina used to be controlled by Buhari APC. Kaduna used to be controlled by Buhari APC. And so many other northern states.
Yeah.
in the east, only one state is controlled by APC, which is Imo State.
Yeah.
Then in the west, because of the
vice president,
Uzoalor, the west has been controlled by APC.
Okay.
But now it's not the same. A lot of things has changed in the past few months.
Yeah.
Because Buhari disappointed a lot of people who support him.
Okay.
So now a lot of them have now gone out of their way now to change
their allegiances.
Their allegiance to Buhari.
Like I said about the opinion polls, actually somebody sent me a Twitter message with the way they think the elections are going to be, and with what they have carried, and the change that have happened because of the two, NPP and
APC and the PDP.
And PDP.
Yes.
And the whole thing comes in because of where a lot of money has been put accordingly. Regardless of whether their Buhari has been successful or not. We hear of these young fellows who are they're called the Black Mafia. I was watching this on TV the other day, by the way.
Yeah, you see, of course, the advertisement you are talking about, where they spend a lot of money advertising, publicity.
And people as well. People have been given a lot of money because of the.
Of course, of course, we know what the APC we are doing, giving the 10,000 naira and taking people's PVC, which is buying people's vote, and that also is in Nigerian media, and we also advocated that people should not be selling their voters card, their right to vote, because the government was saying that they were using the money recovered from General Abacha to divide and give people, and give the market women, give the traders, give the youth to start a small scale business. But in turn, when they do that, they were taking their PVC, their voters card away from them, so that they can use it, in fact, to rig the election, because that's what it is. And all this has come out very clear in the open. With regard to what you said about the opinion polls in this, according to states in Nigeria, like what I said before, of course, Buhari is from Katsina. And the Katsina state will support their own person. And therefore, if you look opinion poll there, it will be higher than that of Atiku.
6 states.
So that is that. And some northern states that are aligned to that of Buhari, it will be showing that Buhari is in the lead. Like what my colleague here said, Ambassador George, of course, a lot of allegiances has changed.
Of course.
Those people who were in APC before, together with Buhari, have now jumped ship and come to PDP. They are now supporting Atiku because of disappointment of the leadership of
Buhari,
Muhammad Buhari. So, and of course, when you come to the southern part of the country, it's solely for Atiku Abubakar. So the opinion poll there will be showing high.
That's what it shows here.
And even in the West, it's the same in the West. Yes, irrespective that the vice president, Professor Amb.George is from there, is almost Atiku's, going to sweep all over there. So we are going to see a tremendous change in this election.
Now there's something else which I also need to get from both of you, and this is something that the current president of Tanzania, it's not the current, but the former president of Tanzania, who is actually leading the African
delegation,
of foreseeing the Nigerian elections. And one of the first things that he asked when you go to Nigeria was that we need to know the figures of the there is already a dispute of the figures of the people, the voting people within regions, because it is like if you're saying that
people that have the voters card,
people with the voters card, if you say Kaduna State, for example, has 10 million voters, then with what was presented to some of them already, it's like Kaduna, what the state has is 10 million voters. Now suddenly Kaduna has 11 or
12 million.
12 million. And he was saying, look, when we look at the figures that were done, and suddenly the figures have jumped. Say, for example, during the previous election, Kaduna was 11 million. Now suddenly Kaduna is 15 million. Were these people gave birth, right? Have people been born during that time and they're allowed to elect?
I will touch on that, but let my colleague comment.
The issue is, how can they, because he's asking now as well, how are we going to make sure that these irregularities, when suddenly
are checked, and that's what we are trying to do. When the results
come out suddenly, we don't want to say, we didn't know that actually you have 15 million people. When we gave you that electrode, there were 15 million of us. Then suddenly they are 20. So how do you think you guys, this result can be dealt with?
Rigging is something that has been in existence in Nigeria. And it is going down bit by bit, to be honest, because if you check the election from the time of Goodluck Jonathan, a lot of things have changed.
Yeah.
So before they can sit down and write figures and just call.
Yeah.
But you know, this election is going to be an eye opener. Everybody is thinking that the government of Buhari is going to rig the election because their popularity is going down every day.
Okay.
And in terms of rigging, I don't think that Atiku and his team will just sit down there and watch Buhari and his cabals rig
they're called cabals,
the election. Rig the election. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Let us not forget that Atiku was a former vice president
himself,
of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And all the people that are with him, the Senate president is his campaign manager. You know, and the other people that vied the presidential aspirant under PDP are all with him, like Tambawal, Kosuko, and some other people. They're all with him. So I don't think that they can sit down there and watch Buhari and his cabal rig the election and remain in the office. If they do that, then that would be on their own blame.
I think
so. But in terms of the figure of the people who have voters card, the figures are there. The INEC has got that list. So when the international community comes, which this Niger Republic and the other countries in Africa belong, when they come, I think they have made it clear that they want to see that list, so that when the result is called, they will compare that result with the list and know and know where if the figure does not correspond, it's just like auditing. They are there to audit. So when they compare the result and find out that the figure that they called is higher than the actual amount of the figure that they gave them as the registered card carriers, then they will now know that something is wrong. But that is where it will be declared that the election is not fair and free. And then the international community will step in.
All right, let me, say a bit here, because from your question is the INEC list of number of registered voters with PVC, and that is why electoral bill was passed by the Senate, the House and the Senate, and which the president refused to sign.
All right.
You know, the issue there is that the system is that if you come to a ward, and if there is 100 people registered with PVC,
Yeah.
those 100 people on the day of election
Yeah.
will come and be online and do their accreditations. Accreditations that will come, they will check that you have your PVC, everything, they check it normally.
Yeah.
Then they will go and come back by 1 o'clock to do the voting.
Okay.
Now, each ward, once it's 100 people that has been registered in each ward with PVC,
Yes, they have to
during the voting, it must be 100.
Yeah.
It can be less,
Yeah.
because some people may not come back,
yeah.
but it will not be 1 or 2 over. So that's what the electoral bill was to take care of, and that is to avoid rigging.
Okay. Okay.
Now, the PVC with the voting card, voting machine, some of them have been tampered with.
Already.
That's the information coming to us. Have been tampered with, and that is where this question of giving people 10,000 naira and taking their voters PVC voters card will come into play, because therefore the fingerprint are no longer monitored by the machine, so anybody can put his or her fingerprint in 20 times, 40 times without being noticed that it has been, or the person has voted before. So now, if you come to a state, like for example, take Kano State, you can say, okay, they have 3 million voted, registered voted citizens from Kano. Then, during the voting time, it must correspond to that 3 million. It might be less than 3 million, but it will not be over 3 million. And that is where the international community coming to supervise, to monitor the election, will check. And when they demand the list of every registered voter person in each state, that is exactly what we are talking about. So if they come to Anambra, we say, okay, Anambra has about 3 million. They go to Port Harcourt has about 5 million. You come to Kano, they have about 5 million. Or you go to Katsina has about 1 million. So all these things are the things that the international community want to monitor and check.
Exactly,
and that will make the election to be fair and to eliminate rigging, and fraud as well. But the issue is there that the president doesn't want these things to be in play. And that is what is worrying the opposition, and it's also a topic of discussion seriously in Nigeria, to make sure that the due process take place, and that the INEC must be up and doing with all the things they are doing. And the issue here, once more, Steve, is that if the materials that they're supposed to use in each ward, if it's not complete, the election will not take place. For example, if you don't have enough voting paper or voters or the list or anything, the election will not take place until all that thing are completed, everything is completed. You see, all the things, the tools necessary that are needed for election to take place in any ward must be complete. You know, and the things they are introducing now is that during the counting, everybody will be there.
When they come,
will be there. If it's those 100 people that voted, they will be there. Seeing them count the votes, so that nobody will go and manipulate the number afterwards. So these are the measures being introduced now, that to make this election to be fair, you know, and free.
Something else was about to be introduced as well, which at the time the Buhari government had made a suggestion about, and maybe this is one of the things that you've talked about. That was that people belonging to particular parties, to speed up the elections, people belonging to certain parties could actually vote with the party. That's why the cards were being taken from those people, so that those people's electoral cards who are already going to vote for their particular parties, those cards are already with.
No, that is a nomenclature of rigging. That is trying to introduce rigging there.
Yeah, because
you can't vote with your party.
Other leaders were skeptical about it and they didn't like it, but the whole idea was because certain people on that particular day, for example,
yeah, but you don't vote in block.
Are going to be busy. They
want to complicate the issue.
No, voting is not done in block.
So that when you see people vote in parties, it will confuse. The way is everybody has to go and queue up. All people that are accredited will go one by one after the other, and vote. And during the
and it's a secret vote.
The vote will be counted openly
in their presence
for everyone.
Yes. And it's counted in their presence, which is quite good.
So
these are problems that cannot go away, and I'm sure the malpractices sooner here and there are always going to exist. But I've always wanted to find out the issue of the youth, for example. The half of the population of Nigeria now, 200-300 million people, are youth. And regardless of what we're going to say today, what Buhari and all the other, who the next president of Nigeria is going to say, there has to be something in there which will help the youth. The youth, how do you see the youth voting in this particular thing? You can see how the adults might vote. But are they being influenced by the two leaders now? Because how are they being influenced by the two leaders?
The youths are the main people that are live in social media. They read a lot of news. They post a lot of things, their own opinions about things, and they listen to these people. Unfortunately, the president, Muhammad Buhari, is not talking. Is not the talking type. Right? So you don't even know what he's going to do. Since he took over as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he has not done enough to support the youths. He has not done enough to encourage them. There's no jobs. The economy is down. A lot of things. Our exchange rate now is like don't talk about it. A lot of things are going wrong.
They will go away if you don't talk about them. People
are being killed. You know, at a rate that you never expect. You know, so including the youths are even being killed more. You know, So the thing is that the youths are fed up of this government. They are fed up of this government. So most of the youths now want a change. So some of them said is Atiku. Then some of them said is more Al-Kinsali. And some of them have other supporters, but I bet you what the youth want is anybody there, as long as it's not Muhammad Buhari, that they want anyone to just be there. But the good thing is that Atiku have said that it will be 50-50, that the youths he will appoint ministers are going to be 50%.
Youth?
Yes. Because he has employed more than 50,000 Nigerian youths working for him in his business. So he has been managing them. So he knows how intelligent they are. And then he said that since these youths have been working for him, his business has gone so far, so wide that this youth, their intellectual creativity, his work is making his business to move forward, right? And since Buhari doesn't have any provision for these people, I can't even remember if there's any youth in his government. So, but this time, they are now hoping that Atiku can give them 50% ministers and let the youth promote the interest of the youth.
Okay.
And let other people. He said he's going to also bring women in as well.
Yeah.
in large numbers well. So we see how he manages it. But the most important thing now to the youth is that they are listening to someone who is saying he's going to create chance for them, and let's see how it goes.
Okay. Moreover, if I may add, what we should know that the youths now are taking active part in politics.
Yeah.
So they are listening because this thing affects their life.
Of course.
You know, all the people you see now, they are the octogenarians, I call them, the 80s and above, 70s and all those things.
Yeah.
But now you will see that even presidential aspirants, we have about 10 of them youths from 33 to 40 something. You know, people like Moalo, Kinsler Moalo, Professor Kinsler Moalo, he should be in the region about 50 something.
Alistair Soyade.
You have Fela Durotoye and Omoyele Suarez, all young youths. And
including women.
Yes. The issue here is that people are awake now. Because those days are gone and I'm not interested in politics is a bygone. A lot of people are interested, a lot of youths are interested because they have seen that the old men have been ruling, there's no provision for them. No job, you finish from university, you will not get a job. So you go and either you start stealing or joining gang or doing some odd job. A country that is very rich like Nigeria, so the youth are paying attention. When you come to the policies, manifestos of these two individuals that are, they are not the only presidential aspirant, but because they are, the political parties are more popular, and we tend to see that probably the president may come out from any of these parties. That's why we are talking about, because you have other presidential aspirants that also have a very good manifesto of the way they can rule Nigeria. Someone like Professor Moala as well.
I was going to say we should also discuss him.
Yes, because he has a very good policy, and he's very capable. Unfortunately, if Nigerian public is like, should I say, educated, country. Yes, we are educated in this sense, but we, compared to our population, the percentage is very few. If it's to be in the Western world, people should have been looking towards Professor Kinsler Moalo with the agenda. But now, Atiku is the main favorable person to take over from the government because of his experience. He's been the former vice president of the country. He's a good businessman. His business is doing well. He has created jobs for people. And not only that, he is a Nigerian because he married from the east, he married from the west, he married from the north. So he's a complete Nigerian. So therefore, he will not tend to discriminate one section against the other, because of course he married from Igbo land. I'm an Igbo man. He married from a Yoruba region. He married from Hausa region. So he will try to be fair in his thinking. And the fact that we would like to bring equity of development, that is what we are advocating, and to create jobs.
What the biggest problem that I can see, or that most people see, is, for example, if you want to stand up president of Nigeria tomorrow, there are things that you need to have to qualify you. You need to qualify as having worked, having. But one of the key things that is required, you need to have the money.
It's money, because Nigerian politics is money.
With the way you are campaigning, you have to go into areas, unless you're supported by the party. If the party has raised enough money, because there are certain regions where you can't even campaign when you don't have the money. Now, this is where the youthful presidents like Alistair Soyade and the other ones can't manage, because they don't have the financial backing. Now, if there was a way of saying such people could, there's you wouldn't call it
a quota for political party to spend. You know, the spending limit.
Yeah.
That will help.
Would that be of assistance to ensure that whoever is to be in the next seat, because that's what is failing in most African areas. We got a young man in Uganda who is trying, but I don't think he can manage
let me tell you something here.
Yeah.
Do you know that the Nigerian constitution or the part aspect of it was recently changed? Because before, if you are not over 50, you can't vie for president.
Yeah.
So now they have changed it and bring it that from 35 years can be able. If you think from 30 years,
30,
can be able
to be president.
Be president of the country.
Of course, yeah.
That shows you how the constitution was devised or was written to make sure that the youths are kept down.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, whereas we have our mates here, they are prime ministers, that even some of them are retired and they are still younger.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So the issue of money bags, because that is exactly what we are referring to.
Yeah.
Probably we should try in our government to raise it up to make sure that the political parties have a cap of spending.
Yeah.
So that will help the young ones to be able to come out.
Yeah.
And one more thing, is to make sure that every political party promotes the young people to come to that.
Yeah,
office,
exactly. Because
you know?
with no financial muscle, it becomes difficult. You find it difficult. You will campaign in certain areas, and you run out of fuel. You won't go into other areas.
That is why people are not hoping that somebody like Islam will not make it, because even though that he has a very good plan,
and
he has a manifesto and all the stuff,
and the background is good.
But however, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has done really well in life, coming from a poor background, to enter into Nigerian custom, and then from there, he started a business, and then started employing youths, and then eventually become a vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and then after that he returned back to his business. He didn't start messing about with other things. He came back. Actually, people convinced him to come and vie for this presidency to rescue Nigeria, and that's what he came now to do. With the money, because people also believe that he has the financial power.
Yeah, he does. To do
that.
The question is. He was vice president during Jonathan's government.
During
Obasanjo's presidency. Now there is a question mark of the fact that because he was a vice president of a man who, of course, did quite a lot of havoc in Nigeria at the time. Not a lot of havoc as such, but there was a lot of corruption as well at the time. So there is a question of saying, look, was he corrupt as well? How did he get his wealth? Because these are some of the things which are questioned every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah. How did he manage to get his wealth?
Come in there.
Yeah.
Actually, Obasanjo really did well when he took office.
Yeah.
Right. Remember, he was the one who paid off Nigerian debts.
Most of them.
All of the Nigerian debts, he paid it off.
Yeah.
Where he got the money to do it is not a matter of, it's not an issue.
Yeah.
But he paid off Nigerian debt.
Okay.
That was why he was voted the second time.
Yeah.
So whatever happens in that second term, remember, he plotted to go the third term.
Yeah, but then there was no way.
But it was Atiku who stopped him.
Yeah.
It was Atiku who stopped him.
Yeah.
So now, would you now say if Atiku was corrupt at that time, he would have agreed, because the two of them would have continued the third term.
Yeah.
But because Atiku is not corrupt.
Yeah.
That is why he stopped him from the two of them maneuvering the entire country
Okay.
to go the second term.
Third term.
So now Jonathan took over, and then after Jonathan, Buhari took over and said he is fighting corruption.
Yeah.
Now, why hasn't he called Atiku to come and answer questions?
Yeah, you should have.
So you should have, if there was any if Atiku was identified as a corrupt man, he would, I'm sure, he has done a lot of people who have been identified. So why didn't he, for one day, call Atiku to come and answer questions on corruption, about his corruption when he was in office?
Right.
But he never did. So that shows you that anybody labeling Atiku as being corrupt, he himself is the one that is corrupt. Because if you look at when they said they also accused him, is because he was corrupt. That is why America, he can't go to America. He went to America recently and come back. That's quashed all these speculations.
I want to ask to move slightly a bit further. One of the things that one can't talk about without discussing, when you're discussing Nigeria, one of the main things that has, in fact, I should say, dominated not just the Nigerian politics, but the Nigerian way of life, is religion. Religion is a major way in which we, people from outside Nigeria, can actually see what's going on in Nigeria. And even recently, they brought out a small WhatsApp message of, some people being killed from a different part of Nigeria because of their religion. Now, religion, looking at the elections now, how is it going to affect the outcome of it? Buhari is a Muslim as well. Anyway, both of them are Muslims. Now, when that Atiku is a Muslim, and Buhari, northern part of the country, and the southern Christian part of the country, especially the Igbos, and this religion has been a major stumbling block, which has affected most of us. Seeing churches being burnt in the north, and then, of course, seeing other areas of Nigeria also going through that. Won't religion affect the outcome of the elections?
Religion is not.
It's not a major factor.
It's not really the major factor. The issue here is the political campaign messages.
Okay.
Because if you come with a very bad vibe, then those audiences tend to follow what you said. So if you come and say, because I'm a Muslim, you must vote for the Muslims, you must vote for me because I'm a Muslim, you don't vote for him because he's a Christian, and then you are instigating violence. You are instigating anarchy. You are trying to now use religion as a tool. In the normal sense, both Christians and Muslims, they live peacefully. So once you come to introduce religious differences, then that becomes an issue. Now, having said that, religion is still playing a part.
It is.
Because that's why you have these herdsmen and Boko Harams going to burn churches and kill Christians in the north, and trying to carve out area for them to dominate, and they say that they are practicing the true religion of Islam. So it's still a factor. But Nigeria is a secular state. Nigeria is neither a Christian country or a Muslim country. So nobody should intend to call Nigeria to be a Muslim or to be a Christian, because that's why we practice secularism. Nigeria is a secular country, like what we have in the Western world. So, issue of religion should not be important in politics.
Yeah, okay.
Should not even come.
So it's not going to affect the elections at all.
It should, of course, the nuance are there.
Yeah.
The nuance are there, but it should not be the major factor for voting for any particular candidate. Yeah, we know that Atiku is a Muslim.
Yeah.
His vice president is a Christian.
Yeah.
Muhammad Buhari is a Muslim.
Yeah.
His vice president is also a Christian from Yoruba land, the western region. And Atiku running mate Peter Obi is also from the east. Okay. He's a Christian.
Okay.
You see, so those shouldn't be the issue to make people to vote. You vote on the person, on the candidate who will develop the country, who will provide all the necessary need of the country that everybody wants.
Okay.
The infrastructures we need. So, and that is educated mind. That is where he should be focusing on. Looking at their manifestos and their policies. What can you do for your country? What can you do for the nation? What can you do for the people that we are going to really rule? So, of course, because of the insurgents of the Boko Haram and the herdsmen killing, therefore it tends to play that part of religion. You know, before I land here, there was a question about monetary, where money come from. Don't forget that Nigeria is an oil-producing country, and during the time of Obasanjo and Atiku, the barrel was so high, the cost of a barrel was so high, and the money came from there.
Okay.
You see, but that does not portray Atiku to be corrupt, because up till now he has not been charged of any corruption, and he has not been investigated. So, answering your question, if you find that he is corrupt, then charge him. We continue saying that, and nobody has brought anything up till now. So that is. I just want to touch that because he has already mentioned
I know.
A lot of things regard to that. But
the reason why I brought the question up, the reason why I brought that question up is because when the declarations were made of all those people who are going to stand for the elections, the declaration of how much money each one of them have and
declared
declared the money and so on. And I think I don't know whether it's Alistair or one of the electorates, one of the candidates actually says, look, Atiku, Buhari, several of the things which were declared, that's those two people have, because they are from
the acquired wealth from the previous from the regime.
And secondly is that the declarations of things which they both declared are wrong, because they actually went and started looking at some other things which they are associated with. Although Atiku said he wasn't, it's like they say this company is yours, and you are saying, oh, I know that company is not mine, but I have some. So you are saying that they didn't declare the true properties or the true wealth of but everybody knows that Atiku has a university. He has the American University in Adamawa, in Yola, in his country, in his state. And not only that, he has businesses, has oil business, has a shipping business. So
man that employed
50,000 is there. And in terms of Buhari as well, the people should have look and see what he has declared. You know, these things are there to see for everybody.
Okay, it's part of the discussion now. Women, that's another major. They are major thing. Where do you think the women's vote is going to come from? Where is going to go? Because there is that tendency, we as men, we normally tend to look at ourselves and say, I'm going to vote for Atiku, I'm going to vote for Buhari, I'm going to vote for... But when you look at some women nowadays are also saying, because I was watching a program yesterday and it was to do with the electorates as well, and Women's Hour, and it was connected with the elections in Nigeria as well, and was saying, look, all of them are campaigning on what they are going to do. Their manifestos are talking about the educations, their you know, the schools they're going to build, this, but nobody is really saying, look, this is what I'm going to do for girls.
For the women.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to do for women. This is what I'm going to do for kids. This is what I'm, nobody's, the kind of things that they want to be done in terms of how they raise their children, in terms of maternity care, in terms of hospital, nobody's really coming to that, because everybody is expecting them to be, official wife, like Buhari is saying, look, my wife doesn't need to say anything. She needs to be in the other room. Yeah, in the other room. How do you men see the women's vote?
Well, the thing is that as far as I can see, normally most women stand where their husbands are. Their husbands stand.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to change that. There are still single women who choose where they're gonna vote.
Okay.
And some of them will we receive the 10,000.
Yeah.
And do their own way. They're voting franchise.
Yeah.
And some will refuse the money and say, this is what I want.
Okay.
I'm voting PDP, Article PDP, and I'm not changing it.
Yeah.
And some people will say whether article or no article, I'm voting, but not even because of the 10,000.
Yeah.
I'm voting because I want him to continue.
Yeah.
So it depends. People consider a lot of things, before they take their
decisions. Yeah.
But majority of women are going to stand where their husband stands.
Yeah, but with the education, there's a level there that an educated woman, regardless of whether her husband is going to vote for the chief, she might say, look, but
there must be interest.
Yeah.
The most of them will vote where their interests are. And not only that, is where they also see that you have given women some positions as well
in office.
And most of Nigerian women are educated.
Of course.
Yes, I know compared to the population, they are still very, but most Nigerian women are educated, and even the women are taking politics seriously because it affects them now.
Of course.
So therefore, the women issues and how it affects their life, they also come out to question you. What are you going to do for women?
Yeah.
How are you going to treat the women education, maternity leave, hospitals where they can go and give birth safely without any problem, and all the diseases affecting women? How are you going to take care of that? And that is where all the health education should come in. Good hospitals for to treat everybody if you are sick, including women, and to have a very good clinic where they can go, the gynecological sessions for where they can go and they give birth safely without any problem. So if you tell them what you're going to do for them to improve their life,
of course,
in terms of education, in terms of them getting employment, in terms of them getting into business, of course they will vote for you.
Obviously, APC wouldn't guarantee that, because even the president is going abroad to have treatment, and then he returns home. So how can he now guarantee women that he's going to provide good health?
I remember the former world president of the World Bank. What was her name again?
Uzoalor, yes.
She was addressing the Nigerian Senate at one time, and the Senate was practically empty. And then she says, "Is it me?" I watched that, and she said, "Is it me?" Our voices, and in fact, when she was here addressing a women's conference once, she says, our voices need to be heard, because what is happening is that for a very, very long time, I know Nigeria is a male-dominated society. Our cultures are dominant, and we want our men to be dominant. But the thing is, this is the 21st century.
Of course, women voices must be heard. Women must be part of the society. Of course,
they have to be heard. But Atiku hasn't mentioned what he's going to do.
He said.
Has he?
No, he said he will give men opportunity. Even more to said clearly that it's going to give women 50% of the
He's more or less running that is a woman.
But then Atiku said he will give you 50%, and remaining, the remaining one is going to give women also 50% as well from the remaining one.
Okay.
So I mean, the only people that are not giving women anything, the only people that are not considering women at all is the Buhari APC. Buhari hasn't said anything about women.
I can't defend him.
You see, for us to be objective, you see, every political party have their own manifesto. So if you read their policies and their manifesto, that will also give you light or show light who actually wants to take care of women or care of youth, or who will actually lead the nation and take the interest of the nation. So from what your question about this is there written in black and white in each person's manifesto. But these things need to be said, need to be spoken, need to be verbal. You need to pronounce it so that people can hear that.
Of course, as you said,
And if you take the political campaign that are going on now, you see that mainly you can hear from Atiku talking about what issues to be done for women. And if you check the other political party, you also it's supposed to be
there is
their own issues are not so clear, so to say.
The key thing now, maybe as we come towards the end of the program, is if you look at the future of Nigeria and you look at the future of the candidates, Molesi is called Molesi, the professor.
Professor
Islay. And I'm seeing the future here of those. Alistair Soedi, for example. Those younger ones who have come in and made a statement. They may not actually be leading contenders to win the elections, but in the next election, they could have that voice coming in. Now the qualities that are coming in
they are good qualities.
It's more now, it's more educated, more experienced, more so some of them are abroad as well.
Some of them
have foreign experience actually. So I think that in future, when the old men eventually, which I know that they will eventually all give way. Because when the pressure continues to mount on them, they will all give way. So I think that Nigeria will improve a lot.
Now, if things don't change the way they are, and the continuation of, say, for example, the way things are, because somebody was warning that there could be a return of the army if something goes wrong with this election, for example. The army has been badly mistreated by Buhari and has also been badly mistreated by Jonathan years ago. Because the army there hasn't been enough investment within the Nigerian military in terms of, say, how much they're paid, increasing their pay, their housing, and so on and so forth. And that is why the issue of Boko Haram has been a continuation over the years. Now, since now proper investment has happened, the big shots are putting their eyes open and watching, and the main worry is that if there are disputes here and there, the army may move in. Do you guys see that?
I would beg to disagree here, because Nigerian democracy has come to stay.
It's an analysis that
it might be a possibility, but it's not going to happen. Because Nigerian democracy has come to stay. And the way the democracy of Nigeria has designed that the army will not come back again.
It won't come back.
It won't come back again. Whether there is enough budget for the army or not, that depends on the leadership of the country, or the politicians, or the president, or the allocation within the budget. But Nigerian army, there have always been well allocated enough budget for defense.
Okay.
Whether they use it properly or not, the army themselves should answer that question. You know, because once the army always have about almost 2 or 4 billion naira allocated to them. Yeah. So they should be able to buy good quality weapons and they look after the army very well, pay the military very well. Yeah. So if their chief of staffs or those on the head of the affairs of army are embezzling the money, they should answer the question. Not only them answering the question, the president as well should have to answer that question, because he should be asking the Minister of Defense, where is the money I budgeted for you to look after your ministry, the army and the defense.
It's accountability.
The accountability must be there.
And also, in my own opinion, I agree with what he said. He said that it will be difficult for an army regime to return back to Nigeria, because the way the Nigerian democracy is now being designed is quite different from you see it in the
old days. You
can see when the army came in to rule Nigeria last.
You
know, if you compare
it's years ago,
from that time till now, the army is not even thinking about coming in. No, or not to talk about coming to take over. So all I'm saying is that, and there's no president that will take over, because they know that army takes care of the security of the country. So there's no president, I believe, that will not budget enough for the army. So if the army says so, let them ask their chief
of staff.
That's why
the Minister for Defense should answer those questions, because right and enough budget are also being allocated for defense. And in fact, defense has almost 1/3 of the Nigerian budget. So they should be well enough to buy latest equipment, fighting equipment. Warships, fighters, machine guns, drones. They should be able to have it. And not only that, look after the army and pay the army very well. And provide for them.
Has got
so these are the issues.
They say they get their weapon from the Nigerian army.
There must be people inside that are
selling those weapons to them if they have better weapons than the army.
We're coming towards the end of the program, and I just want a quick one of who the next president of Nigeria is going to be. Are we going to wake up on the 16th, the 17th, and see Atiku or Buhari, or who? What we do?
For me, I would like to see an Atiku president.
All right.
With his running mate Peter Obi. And I'll be surprised to wake up and hear that Buhari has continued in office.
Chief?
Yes, you see, taking both presidential candidates. You see, we are talking about these two people as if they're only the presidential candidates. They are not, but because majority of Nigerian favors those two parties, that's what we are talking about. Now, Atiku is younger than Buhari, is about 72 years old. Buhari is already 76 in terms of that. And also we know that Buhari's mental health is fading, because he forgets, and he also, you see, a number of times he has fallen during the political campaign. And he doesn't even remember what was said or where he was. And in fact, I personally don't think that it's Buhari ruling the Nigeria. It must be the cabal with him that are ruling. So I would favor Atiku's margin, on my opinion, with Peter Obi as the president. If Buhari continues, Nigeria will be in chaos, because the return of the herdsmen and there will be a lot of unpleasantries for the Nigerian people. So. Personal opinion, I will want Atiku Obi to emerge.
We've come to the end of today's program, and I just want to thank you all for having viewed us, and I hope that you've enjoyed the show, and I hope, like the rest of us, we are going to wake up one morning, that is on the 17th,
on the 16th,
and on the 16th the elections are taking place. But wake up on the 17th, and suddenly there is a new president.
On the 16th.
On the 17th.
No,
sorry,
the
17th is the election.
The next day.
But we wake up on the 17th, and there is a new president in the State House.
Federal Republic of
Nigeria.
Also
and well, we don't know who is going to be the next president of Nigeria.
Of course.
But we'll wake up on the 17th and know who that president will be. Thank you for being very good guests, and I do hope that we'll be together again next week for another program of Africa Speaks. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.